Hello, my wonderful viewers, and welcome to another episode of Betty Adams Overanalyzes. Today, we are going to take a look at Doron Dororon Chapter 5, and oh my goodness, the author and artist knows exactly what they're doing. Shonen Jump knows exactly what they're doing. Do they really expect us to fall for this? You flash a big, cute pair of Bambi eyes up on screen, wrap it in a white, fluffy ball of cuddliness, and you expect us to just hand over money for the plushies? Well, what can I say? Take my money and give me the plushies. I want to see plushies on the shelves in North America yesterday. I want my Kusanagi plushie. Oh my goodness, I want my Kusanagi plushie so bad. Big thing, done in really, really soft cotton flannel with silk embroidered eyes. And I am terrified that they're going to wait for the anime to come out, which means we may not get it at all. But hey, I want my Kusanagi plushie, and if I can't get one from the stores, I'm going to have to make one myself. I've made plushies for series that didn't have plushies before, and oh my goodness, this chapter. Okay, they were definitely pushing the Kusanagi as plushie material in this chapter. But be that as it may, this chapter also had a plot and a lot of character development. In fact, it was really heavy on the character development. We get three main points that I can get into without going into spoilers. We get Kusanagi's motivation, which won't be surprising to say. It's not surprising to any of us. We get an explanation for Jinchayo's behavior. And then we get something else, something not in universe, but kind of meta. We get a hint of how the author is going to take this. In a lot of fighting manga, there's a real temptation just to make the next Mononoke, the next yokai, stronger, bigger muscles, faster speed, to make it more. But there's another way of doing this, to make each fight a different set of challenges for the main characters, and that's to give different abilities to the Mononoke that will make it harder for the power set of our heroes to cope with. And that's what the creator is doing here. As much fun as we all have watching the main character grind their way up through bigger and bigger monsters, I think what we're going to get here is something more nuanced. We're going to see a wide range of attacks, and I think we're going to see the main virtue being developed in this series, not brute strength, which was no good to the main character in the application process, but intelligence, adaptability, flexibility, and probably empathy. And that's about it for the spoiler-free section. If you want to go check out my book, you can, but the link's below the video. Humans Are Weird, I have the data, and Humans Are Weird, we took a vote. Available in ebook, audiobook, and various forms of physical copies, including large print, available now from Amazon and Barnes & Noble. So if you want a copy of a book, you can go click that link before you come back and listen to this video, which will have all the spoilers. So we've got our Kusanagi, our adorable plushie-ready Kusanagi. I am so getting that plushie when it comes out. And he and his human friend have been invited to Jinchayo's house. They don't know they've been invited. They thought they were being called out for another fight, but she wants to do some bonding. She wants to get to know them, get to trust them on a deeper level. And so she's basically invited them over for tea at her place. Also, so she can pet Kusanagi, which, to be honest, we all wanted to do. And this is where we start getting our first background answers. If you may remember, I did a video a while back called Who First Loved Kusanagi? And I was wondering, Kusanagi has clearly had emotional growth, emotional development, and loved some other human before, and some human loved Kusanagi. And I was wondering who that was. Well, we get our first hint, and it was not a happy ending, but it looks like we have our first hint of exactly who helped Kusanagi develop the ability to form relationships. And it's heartwarming and bittersweet on one hand, but it's left Kusanagi who he is, ready to go forward and willing to fight to protect humans. Then we have a hint dropped about Jinchayo and how she ended up this scheming, self-absorbed, but still ultimately good-hearted samurai. And it's a very classic anime trope. I won't tell you exactly what it is. I'm sure you've run across it before. But Jinchayo is clearly has her own traumas to work through. She's clearly compensating for some pretty hefty emotional damage, and hopefully teaming up with Dora and Kusanagi are going to help her through that. Dora is kind of here as a point of view character for most of this chapter and doesn't get much in the way of development, but he serves effectively as he has a flat arc in this chapter, let's call it, where everything is kind of reacting off of him and he's reacting to everything, and through him we get to see what's going on. Then we have the combat scene. Now this is interesting. A lot, like I said in the spoiler-free section, a lot of manga falls into the trap of just making the next threat bigger, stronger. A bigger robot, a faster yokai, a more powerful alien. But it looks like that this author is going to make his Mononoke as diverse as a natural ecosystem, and to give our heroes various challenges. If you have 1,000 rabbits invading your cropland, breeding and eating your crops, you're going to need a different strategy than if you have 1,000 emus or if you have one moose. And someone who is hyper prepared to deal with 20,000 mice in a building is not going to necessarily have the same skills needed to take down one moose chomping through your vineyard. So you need to be able to deal with these situations. And in order for someone to be able to deal with a variety of situations, they need to be intelligent and adaptable. So it looks like the character development as a combatant is going to involve a lot more reacting to surprising situations where they can't just power their way through with a sword and the brawn to wield the sword. So the virtue that appears to me to be developing in the main character would be intelligence and adaptability, which in my humble opinion almost always makes for a better story than just a straight up brute force development. Another interesting thing I saw that has me curious is that the author made a point of the master-servant relationship between lower-ranking Mononoke and higher-ranking Mononoke. Now, the fact that this has been brought up again, and just not that it was brought up, but the way it was brought forward to the surface of the story to make sure that you paid attention to it, as opposed to be just commented on within the story, makes me think that the hierarchy of the Mononoke is going to play a pretty important role going forward. Now, the obvious conclusion from that is that Kusanagi played some role in that hierarchy. This is pure speculation on my part, but given the skills that we've seen that Kusanagi has, his ability to transform himself into any weapon, I'm wondering if he was a specific type of Mononoke who was bred for some purpose, like to be the weapon of, to be essentially a peripheral to a larger, much more powerful Mononoke. It might explain how he got to the age of whatever maturity he is without eating any human flesh, if he was being deliberately raised and cultivated for a specific task, and if so, would the more powerful Mononoke who cultivated him for that task be still out there looking for him? That's a pretty standard trope, and one you might be likely to see in a children's manga, but again, that's pure speculation on my part. I don't know if we're going to see that. So what do you think? Where do you think Kusanagi came from? How is Kusanagi able to form that first relationship that we see the tragic remains of in this chapter? Let me know in the comments below. Hit that like and subscribe button. If you already subscribed, check to make sure you're still subscribed, and peace out, my wonderful viewers. Humans are weird. We took a vote, and humans are weird. I have the data. 2 books in a series of human absurdity. Go check out these short story collections. What will our little green friends think of us when we finally do make it to space? Find out the answer in 2 books of human absurdity. Humans Are Weird, We Took a Vote, and Humans Are Weird, I Have the Data. Available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kobo, and Google Play.